World's Strongest Man, where men, real men, risk ruptured ligaments, torn tendons and muscles ripped clean from the bone. But here in Sun City, perhaps the greatest risk of all is the water wedgie. Bring it on. Hello and welcome to the final qualifying heat for World's Strongest Man 2010. 8 athletes have already made it through to the final to be held here in the spectacular surroundings of South Africa's Sun City. Now it's the turn of Englishman Mark Westerby to take on some of the biggest and best strongmen in the world. World's Strongest Man. There are many in South Africa that wish to lay claim to that title. But for Mark Westerby, that prospect will seem a long way off. He faces 6 grueling tests of strength, as well as a world-class lineup, before he can even think about the final. Can the farmer from Yorkshire upset the odds? The next hour will tell us. So a really tough task awaits the Englishman, but we start this qualifying round with one of his favourite events. It's the medley.
Conditions absolutely perfect, as you would expect here at Sun City, and the course is ready for our strong men. 2 heats of 3, they've got to carry those anvils down the course, then flip the tyre right down, back where they just came from. It's a tough prospect, 75 seconds the time limit, each anvil weighing in at 125 kilos, and the giant tyre, 450 kilos. That's what lies in prospect for 2 heats of 3 men. And there's the first of them, Rob Frampton from Portsmouth in England. His first World's Strongest Man appearance. Looked a bit nervous before the start of this event. Jason Bergman of the United States. Finished in 9th place in the 2008 competition. Christian Savoy of Canada. Canadians always very tough in World's Strongest Man. So this heat about to get underway.
Ready?
280 pounds in each hand, and look at the Canadian go, Colin.
He's extremely quick, very strong legs. And look at Rob Frampton, he's keeping up with him on the far side now. Who's the best at tyre flipping here? And who's the fittest at this altitude?
I can't believe how big this tyre is. It weighs in at almost 1,000 pounds. Now, if any of these men don't flip the tyre all the way back down the course, the number of flips they've completed will be their final score. Tell you what, it's pretty neck and neck at the moment, but the man in the middle, Jason Bergman, the American, just getting his nose in front.
Well, I thought his size might be a little bit of trouble here against the tyre, but he's so fit. That's working for him at the moment.
Well, you mentioned the altitude, 1,000 metres above sea level. The oxygen is rarer, and this is where it kicks in. The lactic acid coursing through their bodies, and the American there, Jason Bergman, really struggling. All he needs is one more flip to get it over the line, and that would be a cracking start to his campaign.
Well, just one push and it's over. Makes it with 5 seconds to spare. Team Bergman loving that. Gives us a good benchmark for the other 3.
So Jason Bergman, wobbling all over the place, the first man to complete the course. His time, 1 minute 9.91 seconds confirmed. Good start for him. As far as Rob Frampton is concerned and Christian Savoy, they will have to wait and see. 5 flips for Rob Frampton. That is his score. Blowing hard. And Christian Savoy of Canada, 5 flips for him too, tied with Rob Frampton.
Well, this was all about the American. He's so fit and strong. Now he's put out a time for the others to beat.
In lane 1, from the USA, Dave Osland.
Heat 2, Dave Osland of the United States, a massive guy, 6'7", 360 pounds body weight.
Mark Westerby.
Mark Westerby from Tadcaster, 2 Englishmen in this heat.
in lane 3 from Russia, Misha Koklaev.
And the mighty Misha Koklaev of Russia, the former Olympic legend in terms of weightlifting. Very tough customer, wearing the orange there on the right-hand side.
Ready?
Well, the time to beat, 1:09.91 by Jason Bergman. And Koklaev is absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, it's great to see him at World's Strongest Man finally. 7 times Russian weightlifting champion. That says a whole lot about him. He's a tough character. But can he go into strongman? Can he compete here with the best? Looks like he can. Very explosive character, as you'd expect from a weightlifter.
Well, it's pretty even at the moment. Koklaev just struggling there a little bit. Keep an eye on the clock at the top of the screen there. Just coming up now to about 40 seconds, but there's still some way to go for these guys.
Well, he's up against Dave Ostlund on the far side. Remember, Ostlund led World's Strongest Man in Charleston, West Virginia. He's extremely experienced. He knew he had this event, and it looks like he's just timing his run here well. Koklaev has blown a gasket.
It certainly is the case of the tortoise and the hare. One more flip should do it for the American. Westerby's there as well, but Dave Ostlund gets it. And Westerby's performed extremely well. Dave Ostlund flew down the course, and the time is good. It certainly is. That means that Dave Ostlund gets first blood. He wins this competition. But what a start by Mark Westerby, finishing in 3rd place. 7 flips, but the time, the most important thing there for the American. Good time as well by Mark Westerby. He finished the course. 3rd place for him. Good points. Poor old Koklaev, though, got away to a cracking start and then blew a gasket in the end.
I think Koklaev in the real sprint events will do very well, as he did here in the Farmer's Walk. But it's not about how you start, it's how you finish.
Mark, that was incredible to watch. Such a great effort, but just pipped to the post there by Dave.
Yeah, Dave's a fantastic athlete. The air's so thin here, it's so hard work, you know. A lot harder than what I thought. You get 2 or 3 flips and your power just leaves you.
But you made it to the end.
I had to.
Is it not so much the weight then, it's more the air?
I know it's the way. It's a new tyre, 450k, on grass. You know, everything's against you.
Yeah, they don't make it easy for you, do they?
No, this year's going to be tough.
A very respectable effort from Westerby, but beaten into 3rd place by the relatively diminutive Jason Bergman. A fantastic effort by the American, but it's his countryman Ostlund who secures the win. Things don't get any easier after the break as our strong men feel the full force of 345 kilos on their backs in the tortuous squat lift. Welcome back to Sun City, where it's so far so good for England's Mark Westerby. Next up for the Big Brit is a classic powerlifting test, and one where he's struggled in the past. It's time for the squat lift.
Always a tough one, and the amphitheatre, of course, here at Sun City, well, it's been the venue for some fantastic World's Strongest Man competitions in the past. Very simple. You've got to lift 345 kilos as many times as possible in 75 seconds. So here we go. Christian Savoy, the first up. He completed 6 reps. Dave Ostlund, surprisingly, the big man from America, got only 2.
From England, Rob Frampton.
Well, Rob Frampton knows exactly what he's got to achieve here. The lead is 6.
Okay, Rob, under the bar.
And Christian Savoy of Canada really has set a pretty good benchmark here. Well over 700 pounds. And these guys, Colin, when they go into the gym, the squat is one of their staple diets for training, isn't it?
Oh, very much so. And Frampton's a big squatter. But this kind of event, you've got the bar on your shoulders all the time. It's very exhausting.
Just taking a deep breath before going into the deep squat. One more to equal the Canadian Savoy. Oh, he's done it easily. This is good. Now, can he get one more and go into the lead? Just taking his time. There is, of course, 75 seconds. This is good stuff from Rob Frampton.
Well, he'd be looking for double figures if he can, but it's whether his body will allow him now. Sucking the oxygen in. Oh, what a fighter Frampton is.
He's got that mouth guard in to protect his gums, to protect his cheeks as well. And those knee wraps, they help too, but 8 repetitions for Rob Frampton of England. Good effort.
Well, Frampton gave it absolutely everything there. 8 reps. It's a good score. I'm not sure it'll be a winner, but it'll certainly push the others.
Ladies and gentlemen, from England, Mark Westerby.
Mark Westerby, well, he's seen what his teammate Rob Frampton has just done. Just looking a little bit nervous.
Lift in your own time.
It's a massive weight these guys have to achieve, even to do it once. But that is a good start for Westerby.
Well, this is very much a gym test, and Westerby never really trained in a gym until he was in his mid to late 30s. Just shows you how raw and powerful this man is, that he can turn his hand to any event.
Deep breath. Squeeze. This is good. 6 reps. He's drawn level with Savoy. One more to go ahead of the Canadian. He's got it. Now to draw level with Rob Frampton.
Well, he's done it. Oh, he's had enough, though. I think he's asking for the racks to go back in. He didn't want to get trapped to the bottom. That can be very uncomfortable.
8 repetitions, though, equaling the lead, and certainly a lot of pride at stake amongst the Englishmen. But this fella gave it absolutely everything. Technically, that was a superb squat.
I don't think he had any more there. One more would have made the difference, but he just didn't have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the USA, Jason Bergman.
Well, Jason Bergman from the United States, he's come here with a reputation of being a big squatter. So this, I think, could be a superb event for him. He won the first event, of course. He's not the biggest man in this heat.
Squat.
And look at the footwear, Colin. Really stout boots he's wearing. Is that going to help?
Well, it might stabilise his ankles. Wow, he's going at this incredibly quickly. He's very mentally tough, Jason Bergman. Trains very hard, and of course he's overcoming the lack of size against these bigger men.
Well, you can tell the pressure he's putting himself under here. Look, there's blood pouring from his nose, and that surely is going to affect him. He's gone into the lead already, however. And how many more can he do?
He is giving everything here. 12 repetitions. Really laying it on the line, Bergman. Look at the pressure in his eyes. Totally bloodshot.
Oh, my goodness. Well, anybody who thought strongman was easy, Jason Bergman has made that squat look easy, but what toll has it taken on his body? My goodness.
Oh, he doesn't even know how many he's done. So focused, Bergman. This is World's Strongest Man heats, though. You've got to lay it on the line here if you want to make the final.
Jason, congratulations. That was quite incredible. Leading the group by a mile.
Yeah, well, I knew there's one more guy that's really good at squatting. And I knew I had to give it everything to hopefully keep him off my tail. So hopefully 12 reps is enough to win.
We hope so. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, the man he was talking about being good at squatting is Misha Koklaev here of Russia. I wonder how many squats he's performed in his training over the years. I bet it's thousands and thousands.
Squat.
So here we go. Chasing a massive total by Jason Bergman of 12, Colin.
In some ways, he's the product of the old Soviet system, Koklaev. Comes from the Ural Mountains. Started weightlifting at a very young age when he was spotted as a talent. Yeah, he's probably done millions of squats. But can he do 13 to beat the American?
Well, he's just drawn level with Rob Frampton and Mark Westerby and goes ahead of them. So at best they will finish in third equal place. He's just checking with his coach how many he's done. He's satisfied with second place behind the American. Total efficiency, doesn't even look puffed out, and Jason Bergman is a fantastic winner of the squat. Koklaev, 9 repetitions, and if that is a sign of things to come, wow, watch out everybody.
Jason Bergman is in Superman mode here in South Africa. The smallest man in the competition has posted the biggest score we've seen across all groups. Westerby and Frampton a creditable 8 each. It's the American who's got a clear lead in Group 5, but Westerby and Kuklaev are really scrapping for that second qualifying spot. Ostlund and Frampton are just behind.
The course laid out for the Africa Stone. This is a phenomenal contest of strength and endurance. They've got to carry that massive weight, 175 kilos, as far as possible. Dropping the stone ends your attempt. And of course, the one who carries it the longest distance wins and gets maximum points. Unfortunately, Rob Frampton didn't even get off the start line. He couldn't pick it up, dropped it, that was the end. 0 meters, 0 points. Unlike Dave Ostlund of America, he carried it over 2 laps of the track, 57.1 meters his score. And then came Kuklaev. This nearly spelt disaster. Toppled over, the weight came crashing down, a lot of concern for everybody. 3.9 meters his score. But the wing to the camera told us he was okay. So there is the current situation with 3 of our athletes gone. Dave Ostlund of America leads by a long, long way. But that slip by Rob Frampton has cost him dearly.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the USA, Jason
The mighty
Bergman.
Jason Bergman of the United States is up next. He's looked very, very mobile in training here. And there is a very close look at the Africa Stone. And unlike previous World's Strongest Men competitions, these athletes have actually got to pick the weight up off the floor. Normally it's been on a plinth, but that firm grip that the American has got, Colin, should serve him well. He's going extremely well, in fact.
It'll be interesting to see just how much the squat has taken out of his legs here. He seems to be doing pretty well so far. The one thing he has on his side is he doesn't have a big belly, no big chest either, so it's not crushing down so much as some of the more rotund big men.
Well, Jason Bergman, fleet of foot, incredibly strong in the back and the arms, just has to touch over the line to start his 3rd lap here. So well over 50 meters, approaching 60. There he goes past the marker, and it's going just over 65 meters. That is superb by the American once more. He's guaranteed big points, looks exhausted. And 65.6, the current leader, that's going to be hard to beat for sure.
You know, Paul, he's a man of few words. He just gets on with the business. Look how hungry he is here. Digging in, getting every single meter he could.
Mark Westerby up next. He's one of the athletes that has appeared in World's Strongest Man in the past. So let's find out a little bit about his prospects for this year.
I learnt a lot in 2007. There's a lot of really strong guys out there. And, you know, just to even live with them takes some doing. To try and beat them, it's a hell of an achievement. Don't get me wrong, there's some fantastic athletes in Britain. But here, everybody you come across is unbelievable. I think what I'll do differently this year is keep my head. I tend to lose my head a bit. I get a bit intimidated, if you like. But try and keep my cool and just focus. My group's a hard group. They're all hard groups, but I think mine is really hard. My aim is really is to actually get through to the final. That's really why I'm here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Well, certainly
from
this
England,
event
Mark
could
Westerby.
make a difference. In 3rd place after 2 events. 3 events to go after this one.
Mark, ready? Time starts now.
Away we go. And even getting it up to your chest, Colin, is going to be very hard for all of these guys. And that's why we're seeing more and more a lot of the guys taping up their wrists, taping up their forearms. But that, for Westerby, is a very solid grip. And look at this, he's almost sprinting.
You know, he spent his whole life farming. He's just a very raw, powerful, natural, strong man. He's a bear of a guy, Westerby. And this is the kind of event that it suits him. Look at this. He's just jogging along here.
Well, slowing a little bit, as you'd expect, and that Africa Stone is slipping a little bit, but heading towards Jason Bergman's mark of 65.6. He's over 60. This is looking good. Oh, now, come on. All you need is a couple of meters. What has Mark Westerby got left?
Normally when they take a rest,
Tell you what, that is so close. They're going to have to get the tape measure out to decide this one. 65.5, just short of the Americans' lead.
I think it was a bit of a mistake there to stop, try and take a rest and then go again. It never works. I've seen it happen dozens of times. He just went straight down with it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
next competitor, Canada, the final competitor, Christian Savoy of Canada. And in the past, the Canadians really have taken to this event. We've seen some fantastic rock carrying in all shapes and sizes. So Savoy, well, we know what he's got to beat now. 65.6 by Jason Bergman and 65.5 by Mark Westerby. That's one of the closest stone carries I've ever seen.
Oh, I would think he wishes his fingers were a little longer there. They didn't quite clasp round it. He's decided to go anyway, which is probably the sensible move. You don't want to waste too much time picking up. Oh, he's going off the course there. Has to be said, it's quite hard to see where you're going here.
It is. Jim Pollock, the judge at the far end there, was just saying, yeah, you're okay, but he had to take 2 stabs at it. And how on earth he's managing to grip the Africa Stone for so long, I really don't know. But this is a good performance, and it does spell danger for Bergman and Westerby.
Well, he's leaning back further and further. His grip's going to go soon. Surely he can't hang on much longer here.
It's getting close. He's past 60 metres. 65, and that was the Westerby-Bergman mark. And he's got it. He's over. And at the very last competitor to attempt this, he wins it. That was full of guts and determination. Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, that has just made this group a whole lot more interesting. Savoy fighting to the end. He had a mark to hit, and he made it.
Maximum points for the Canadian. Another great Canadian performance in a rock carry. Superb.
Just 1.5 metres separating the top 2 in the Africa Stone, but it's that half a centimetre pushing Mark Westerby into 3rd that may prove significant. Bergman is almost home and hosed, amazingly, but the second qualifying spot could belong to any one from 4 athletes. The Englishman, Westerby, is under huge pressure. Well, things are looking pretty tough for Mark Westerby at the moment, and they're not going to get any easier after the break. Coming up are 2 events designed for maximum discomfort. First of all, the athletes need to get to grips with a new discipline, the metal block lift. And after that, it's the agony of the deadlift hold. We really can be very cruel at times. Calm, sedate, serene. Everything that World's Strongest Man isn't. Welcome back to South Africa as we head to the metal block lift, and your commentators Colin Bryce and Paul Dickinson.
So Monkey Square here in Sun City is set for our next event, and it's a toughie. These blocks have got to be pressed overhead. There you go. Ranging from 110 kilos to a new world record weight of 150, if anybody can do it. 90 seconds to complete all 4. Dave Ostland tied for 3rd place, and this heat is very, very close.
Ready, lift!
Well, this will give us an idea, Colin, as to how good this guy is at rock lifting. Presses it easily. Good technique.
Oh, tremendous technique. From what I've heard, he's actually built himself a replica of the world record, this 150 at the end here. So he's done it in training, and he's quick with the first 2.
Well, 130 kilos, 285 pounds or thereabouts. That looks comfortable. This would be a world record. Nobody has ever achieved this before. 145 is the current world record. Come on, Colin, you're the expert. Can he do it?
Well, he looks good for it at the moment. It's all about balance, though. He's got to hit it with his legs and then lock it out at the top.
330 pounds, whoa! Well, he has got time to try it again. There's his wife urging him on. And you just get the impression now, Colin, he may have just blown it. This is not just a question of strength, but you've got to have the stamina too.
He's giving it a good go. No, he doesn't have the tricep power to press it out now. He's exhausted. Good effort, though. A fast 3.
That would have been superb, wouldn't it? 23.2 seconds for the 3 blocks.
A big round of applause, please, ladies and
Well, you
gentlemen.
see how far you have to lean back to do this. That's the 3rd block. That was easy for him.
It's England next. Mark Westerby, who of course did so well in the last event. A new test, though, new rules. Just wonder how strong his arms are. We know what incredible strength he's got in his back and his legs. This could be tough for him. 110 kilos, 242 pounds.
Well, I don't think it's the weight for Westerby, it's the technique. He's not as highly trained as some of the others. He's got plenty of raw power. 120 kilos for him isn't much, really.
He's just having difficulty getting that one balanced, and balance is so important. That's good. He certainly has got tremendous strength in his arms, there's no doubt about that.
But he's not going to be as quick as Ostlund to the 3rd. But if he gets this, it should help him get some good points overall.
Well, he's got to lock his arms out, and that will not be given. So he'll have to go again. And of all the times that I've ever seen this, if anybody has to have a second attempt at something, they just seem to run out of steam.
Yeah, you're right on the limit here. A second attempt is now. It's never going to happen. He couldn't even get it off his chest. So just 2 for him.
Well, after competing so well in the last event, this is a disappointment for Mark Westerby of England.
Well, the first one flew up. Second one started to struggle. The 3rd one, I think he wished he'd done a bit more training at it.
Well, Christian Savoy of Canada was on a high after winning the last event, but he didn't perform here too well. Only 1 block in a slow time. And then along came the Englishman, Rob Frampton. Once again, he equalled his fellow countryman Mark Westerby. He got 2. Well, there is the current situation. Dave Ostlund of the United States holds the lead. The only man so far to have lifted 3 blocks.
From Russia.
Well, this guy,
Misha
I'm sure, is going to be a danger. Misha Koklaev. And look at the chalk all over his chest. That will help just steady the weight before the massive press that is required to get it overhead. Now, this guy is an Olympic weightlifter, but this is nothing like weightlifting here, is it?
Yeah, but he's so used to lifting weights over his head, Paul. Do you see how easy he just manhandled 110 and 120? Now, can he get the balance on the heavier ones?
Tell you what, he's every inch the athlete. There's not a lot of spare flesh on that body. Tremendous athlete's legs. Now, we expected Dave Ostlund of America to challenge for the world record, and all of a sudden, after a very fast time by Koklaev, beating Ostlund, he is now attempting a world record. It's a little moment of history here in World's Strongest Man. Oh! So close. Almost got it to arm's length. Just lost the balance.
Oh, I think he could have done that. He still has 45 seconds. Yeah, the smart thing here, just take a little rest. Don't rush at it.
Well, certainly the timekeepers are shouting out just how much time he has left. And the crowd here would love to see a massive performance. I wonder if any of the crowd have attempted to lift this. I doubt it. No, that is it. Koklaev, he's blown it. Nevertheless, a superb performance by the Russian. And look at the sweat pouring off him. Shows you just how hot it is here in Sun City.
Well, a tremendous first 3. It would have been the icing on the cake if he'd have hit that world record, but it wasn't to be.
Congratulations, Misha. No one thought that anyone could have beaten Dave's time, but you did. How much does your background in Olympic lifting help you out there?
It's not Olympic lifting, it's strongman. It's very serious, you know. And if there will be bars, Olympic bars, I think 150, 170, 200 and 220, I can lift that. But that is aluminum blocks, and that is super, yeah.
Good to see Misha upbeat after that performance. One man to go now, though. Jason Bergman of the United States. Let's hear a bit more about this jovial American.
A strongman pretty much makes everything hurt. It reminds you of muscles and ligaments and joints that you didn't think you had. Last year, not making it because of an injury was pretty taxing on me mentally and physically, but I knew right after I had the injury fixed that my goal was to make it back, to prove to everyone that I could come back and still compete at 100%. Mental toughness is a key factor at World's Strongest Man, mainly because you're going against the best in the world. You have to stay focused, you have to stay under control, because if you let all that adrenaline rush through your body, you're going to end up making a mistake. There's a lot of guys that are going to fold under the pressure, so you definitely need to keep everything together and go at it when the whistle blows.
From the USA, Jason Bergman.
He's certainly not the biggest man in the competition, but he's so determined. Ripped, full of muscle.
Ready?
This should be easy. 110 kilos to start with. And just looking down the list, Colin, he only needs to lift 2 in a pretty quick time, and that will bring him good points. And this is the second.
Second's pretty easy. He's trained this a lot with Ostlund, so expect him to be making an attempt, I think, at 150.
Well, if he can't get this one, it does mean that Kuklaev has won. And that will not be given. Almost rebounded there onto his shin. You certainly don't want 280-odd pounds crashing down onto your foot, do you?
No, you certainly don't. Now, does he have the tricep strength to give this a second crack?
Well, he's just having problems there. Getting it up onto his chest, leaning back. He says that is enough. I wonder if he knows that he's actually finished in third place. Good effort.
Well, his first 2 were pretty easy. And that third one, it's so big, and he's not a huge man. It was hard to manhandle.
So Misha Kuklaev hailed as the victor here. Great effort from the Russian.
What a showman and what an athlete. Kuklaev made those 3 blocks look so easy as he cruised past Dave Ostlund's time. Bergman, again, very respectable, but Westerby could suffer from that result. The Englishman is out of the qualifying positions, overtaken by both Kuklaev and Ostlund, and those two don't look about to make a mistake right now. But look at the man out in front. There's a chance of a real upset here in Sun City as Jason Bergman now looks favourite to win Group 5. Mark Westerby, on the other hand, looks to be headed home. If he's going to stand any chance of qualifying, he needs to make a move in the next event. Sadly, it's one of the cruelest events here at World's Strongest Man. It's the agonising deadlift hold.
It certainly is agonising. Set in a beautiful location, the Valley of the Waves here in Sun City. Those are the cars they've got to lift and hold for as long as possible. A massive 370 kilograms. You've got to have a lot of determination. You've got to block out the pain to see who wins.
On my left, from England.
So here we go with Mark Westerby in 4th place. Needs to make this one count if he's got any chance, as Martin was saying, of qualifying.
Jason Bergman.
And he's up against the leader, Jason Bergman. Deceptively strong. And this is what's happened so far. Rob Frampton of England leading the way at the moment. 74.85 seconds. Christian Savoy of Canada a little bit behind, 69.23. So the agony about to begin. Mark Westerby on the left-hand side of the screen. He really is much, much bigger than the American, isn't he?
Well, size doesn't really matter in this event. It's all about mental strength. If you can pick it up, it's who can hang on the longest. The first few seconds, the pain's terrible, and it just gets worse and worse. The time they have to beat, 1 minute 14 by Rob Frampton. That is a huge ask.
Coming up now towards 30 seconds, both men beginning to shake just a little bit. Look at this. Got the dark shades on. Trying to block out the sun. It's searingly hot here. And that certainly will have an effect on all of these guys. Coming up to 50 seconds. Good effort by both of them.
Well, who wants this more? Oh, I think the grip just went on Westerby. His left hand just went there. Bergman digging in. He still has 15 seconds to go if he wants to go into the lead.
Tell you what, Bergman is just about hanging on by his fingertips there. All of these guys are using these lifting straps to help with the grip. And this is getting a little bit insane now. Bergman hanging on. His shoulders are drooping. His arms almost seem as though they're getting longer. A fantastic time, though. A great lead he's got over everybody else. Oh, my goodness, 1:27. Absolutely superb. He gave it absolutely everything.
Well, that really was stunning, Paul. He might be small in stature, but he's huge in heart. I thought at about the 35-second mark when the shakes came he was going to go down. Another minute later, virtually, he's still there.
Jason, that was pretty incredible. How are you feeling after that? Amazing stuff to watch.
I'm actually feeling pretty good. I mean, I can feel it in my back. And I knew I had to put out a good time because the two other guys that are coming up are going to put out good times. So I just hope it's good enough to take first.
Oh, come on. That's got to be good enough. You really don't think anyone's going to try and beat 1:27, do you? Do you think anyone will be able to, really?
I honestly think, this is World's Strongest Man. I mean, I've done stuff that I'm not used to here, and other people have been doing stuff that they've never done before, so anything's possible. But I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat it.
And on my left, from Russia...
Well, this is a fascinating matchup here. Misha Kuklaev of Russia, in with a chance of qualifying for the final. But the man
right,
next to him has to beat the mighty Russian if he's got any chance of going through. So this could decide the outcome of this heat, despite the fact, of course, there's still one event to go.
Ready, lift!
Two mighty nations, Russia up against the USA. And both gentlemen there standing solid as a rock at the moment.
Well, this is really a fascinating encounter here. It's a sort of do-or-die situation. The time to beat so enormous. Let's see who starts shaking first, and ooh, a little bit of a shiver coming through Ostland's body already. It's only 25 seconds into it.
Let's not forget Rob Frampton as well, who's standing pretty strong in second place at the moment at 1:14.85, and that was a tremendous performance by the guy from England. So the clock ticking away, over 40 seconds now. No sign of weakness. Kuklaev just blowing a little bit. This fella, just a little bit of a shake in his upper body.
I think Kuklaev's game plan here is just to try and keep as much oxygen in his body as possible.
Solid, over a minute. And this is getting crucial now. Which man is going to give up first? If Ostland comes in second place in this particular contest here. Oh, he's gone! And that means the Russian beats him. That was a total surprise. 1 minute, he was solid. The next minute, it gave way. Kuklaev beats him. And I reckon the Russian could go through to the final on that performance. But remember, we've still got one event to go as Kuklaev dances out and performs in front of the crowd. Looks confident, doesn't he? Dave Ostland in fourth place, and that is crucial. He may have blown his chances of qualifying for the final.
It's official. Jason Bergman is superhuman. The smallest man in the field wipes the floor with the opposition. Well done also to Rob Frampton. He pushes Dave Ostland into fourth. You won't be surprised to hear that Jason Bergman has qualified for the final. But his countryman's failure in the deadlift hold means Misha Kuklaev is now favourite to join him. Westerby's challenge looks over. Well, congratulations to Jason Bergman. He really has been very impressive so far here in Sun City, and several of his fellow finalists will be looking on very worried indeed. To find out who joins him in the final, join us after the break. Sun City provides a magnificent backdrop to all of these tests, but the athletes won't be looking at any of it as they burst their lungs in the load race.
Last event, the loading race. 75 seconds, the maximum time limit to load 4 barrels weighing 110 kilograms each. And running in the sand, believe me, is going to be very difficult. But Jason Bergman of the United States, he has already qualified for the final. He's performed brilliantly so far. Kuklaev with a 3-point cushion. He remains favourite to get the second spot. And there he is. Full of confidence he's been, particularly over the last couple of events.
From the USA.
And would you believe it? He's up against Dave Ostland. So the fight for the final is between these two now. Now, there's the situation so far. Christian Savoy leads the way, 4 barrels, 54.2 seconds the time to beat. Mark Westerby did well. He's currently in second place. So come on, Colin, who's your money on here?
Well, it's hard to say, really. Dave Osland is tremendous at this kind of event. But it's not just about what Dave Osland does. Koklaev is really master of his own destiny here. If he does all 4, he almost certainly will go through.
But Osland is certainly ahead of the Russian at this stage, making amends for being beaten by Koklaev in the car lift at the last event, and he's absolutely flying at the moment. But this guy has a 3-point cushion, and how crucial is that going to be?
Well, if Osland's the fastest, and then Savoy and Westerby, who've both done 4, if Koklaev doesn't do this barrel, he might not go through.
Osland is slowing. Koklaev looks as though he's coming on strong here. But that is a victory for Dave Osland. But is it going to be enough? I don't think it is. Koklaev, he's done his mental arithmetic. He is through to the final. So despite the magnificent efforts by Dave Osland of the USA, he does not go through, and he's begun to realise that. He's gutted. Thank you very much, as Mikhail Koklaev qualifying for the World's Strongest Man final. Superb.
Well, Dave Osland, who's been one of the greats in strongman over the last few years, definitely one of the favourites to make it through, but it's the Russian who pulls it out the bag.
Congratulations, Misha. You've qualified for your very first World's Strongest Man final. How tough did you find the qualifying process?
This process is very hard. Looking hard. Feeling hard. But very funny. I love these guys. 30 best guys all over the world. I'm enjoying because it's heroes. It's best from the best. And make me big motivation to be in qualify.
You've really entertained the crowds in all the events that you've done. Is that part of your persona, being a bit of an entertainer?
I'm showman. I think much better than sportsman.
So we'll see even more of that in the final then.
Little speech and more some greatest moments after victories.
Well, good luck with the final. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
A great effort from Dave Osland to win the final event, but it's the second place Mikhail Koklaev wearing the smile. Christian Savoy can be proud of a sub-minute time as well. Confirmation there that it's the Russian who'll join Jason Bergman in the final, but what a battle Heat 5 has been. Mark Westerby and Rob Frampton leave empty-handed, but the man in top spot can be very proud indeed. Well, we now know that Mark Westerby will not join Terry Hollands in the final, and surprisingly, nor will the experienced Dave Osland. Congratulations, though, to Jason Bergman and Mikhail Koklaev, who complete the 10-man lineup. Join us next time for the final of World's Strongest Man 2010.